Hello, I am with the lovely and amazing Neha Vikas, and I I came to know her through social media, and it's almost like the stars aligned properly for us to get to know each other. We have so many different backgrounds and different viewpoints on life, and when I say different, I mean it in the upbringing that it's enlightened me to think differently. It's enlightened me to see the world in a different way. For instance, there was a time that I was talking about self doubt, and I had no idea that it was a cultural thing versus something that we were all equipped with. Not only did she just drop a little bit of knowledge in that comment alone, but she has a tremendous story. And the story is one that I've never heard of, and it's very authentic. And it made me connect to her even more. This woman was bedridden at a point in her life, and she was in an abusive relationship, and she didn't give up on herself. And it's stories like this that motivate me to continue to go, that no matter what I go through in life, I know there's another side. And she was Miss India 2019. She's been, aside from that, she has taken her story, learned from it, and become a therapist, world-renowned therapist, and helps so many other people get through these transitions as well. And this is not just some menial cookie cutter thing. No, she's been doing this for over a decade, changing people's lives. So it's an honor to introduce you. Is there anything else that you'd like me to say, or?
Oh, Olivia, that's so wonderful. Thank you for having me over here. And I'm so thrilled about we connecting in a very, it was such a genuine way that we got connected. And the way you are giving my entry is making me see myself from your side, like how it impacted you, or how it gave you some different perception about life and other cultures. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for your kind words. And it's lovely to be over here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So would you like to share some of your stories so the audience can get to know you a little bit better?
Yes, I would definitely like to share a few things that I feel that really impacts people and makes them look at life in a different way. So let me begin from the very beginning when I was very young. I had been brought up in a family. I'm from India basically, so we have a different culture than how the other people on the world, or specifically the culture in USA, UK, or the countries like that is way different than how it is in India. So I've been brought up in a kind of culture where a girl is subjected only to become a good wife, good daughter, good mother, good sister, and all of those. She doesn't have a life of her own. Now this was before decades. It's not the case right now. India is way different than how it used to be when I was a child. Okay, people have come a long way, and I'm proud of my country and I'm proud of my culture equally. But at that time, coming from a small town, and uh, being born in a family as a second child, as a daughter, I'd been always loved. Not that I was not loved, but the society setup was like that, where we are taught that we have to fit in, we have to please others, to claim our worth, or to feel worthy of ourselves is only possible if you are a good wife, or a good daughter-in-law, or a good mother. If you have not been able to fulfill other person's expectation, or not been able to please them, then you are worthy of nothing. Nobody's love, or nobody's even know you're not tried for anybody, or nobody respects you if you're not worthy of anybody's respect if you can't please people. So you can imagine how tough it can be, right?
Yeah.
And from there, I got married, and I tried to fit in so much into this cultural setup that I was brought up into. And from my childhood I had been a rebel. I would keep on fighting back on everything that I was told to do, and I was be like, why I have to do, and why my brother does not have to do the same thing, why I have to be like this, and why my brother does not have to, or any man does not have to. So there were so many things when it came to the safety part of being a woman, that as a girl or as a girl child, I couldn't do certain things because it's not safe, or it's not acceptable by society, or it's not respectful by society. So understanding who you are and trying to live your life from there was nowhere a possibility, or nowhere even kind of idea in the head, and I would be rebel all the time that why I have to live like this. uh, but I fit into the marriage, no matter how much I was a rebel, but I fit into the marriage for 17 long years, Olivia. And in the whole course
17
of fitting
years.
here, yes, and in whole course of my fitting myself into that marriage, I lost myself. And it was like, I'm nobody, I'm nowhere, and I'm nothing. And I had identity loss, I had severe depression, I had autoimmune diseases, I had I had, I mean, you name it and I'm game kind of thing. I would constantly look for solutions to my problems. I would have multiple body aches all the time, and because I was constantly forcing myself into something that I am not, that I don't believe in, then that I do not agree with. But I was trying to fit into that just to prove to the world and to my parents and to my family and to my society that I'm worthy of everybody's respect and love because I'm giving in. So, that's how the whole thing really built up, and that damaged me. I put on almost uh, I went up to 130 kgs. That would be what I mean. You can multiply it by 2 pounds. Okay, so that would be more than 260 pounds, maybe more than that. Okay, uh, and it was impossible for me to get up from my bed and get a glass of water because I had been constantly betraying myself, and there came a time when my body and my mind gave up on me ultimately. So it had been a journey from there to lose so much weight and to walk the ramp and to win Mrs. India and to establish 3 different businesses, make money, and have my own identity. It had been a huge, you know, things that I'd been through, like roller coaster ride.
Oh, I can only imagine. I myself had I lost around 70 pounds on my own. So I know that struggle. And it's like being aligned with who you are is so important. And you know that because that's your story, living in your purpose. And how do you help others live in their purpose now?
Well, you know what? In 2009, I was so emotionally traumatized and frustrated. So, as usual, we all go to Google to find certain answers. So, I also went to Google and I just typed how to deal with emotional trauma. And I was very new to internet and Google and all of that. I think I had my very first laptop in 2009. Can you believe that? So, I started to look for it, and I found some of the articles very interesting, and I subscribed one of those. Her name is Louise here, and many people know about her. She's very famous author and a metaphysical teacher. She has written a very famous book named "You Can Heal Your Life." So I just subscribed to her newsletter. And on the next day, with a hot cup of coffee, I was just sitting in my balcony, and I just opened my laptop and I just was checking through my emails, and I saw her email. I opened the email, and the email said that, you can live a life you really want. There can be peace, love, joy, everything. You just have to change the way you think and look at things. You have to change your perceptions, and you have to release the emotional baggage you have. You have to let go of the anger. You have to forgive, and you will be fine. Things work out. And I'm just saying it in a raw form that I absorbed at that time. Can you believe what happened to me when I read that? Can you probably guess?
Was it like an awakening almost?
No,
No?
no, I was so angry. I was so angry at her that how come she's saying that you can have a life you really want? She doesn't know what happens in India, and typically what happens to daughters and daughters-in-law in India. She's just bullshitting. This was my first response, and I spammed. I just blogged. I said she's not worth it, and I can't. I don't think that I can relate to her. Can you believe that? I
Wow.
did that.
Wow.
I was so I had rage inside me when I read that. That how dare somebody say that you can have it all and you can have it, you can be fine and you can be rocking and things can turn around, and what is this? I was like that, But finally, in 2011, I just read that book, You Can Heal Your Life. By that time, there were more than dozen people who told me that you must read this book, and I was like, not that book. No.
Like, not that
But
crazy lady. I'm not doing that. She's lying.
exactly. And you know what? I finally, with a lot of resistance, it is there's a saying that you always resist something that is really good for you. And you keep saying no. And by the time uh, all the things that I was going through, I was a person who would just say no to anything. Good, bad, ugly, anything. Even if excellent things come to my way, I would just say no, 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 no. That was the person I had become through whatever happened with me and the kind of attitude I'd built. I'd lost faith, I'd lost hope, and I was completely hopeless. I was pathetic, literally. Okay, so so it was so tough. But I picked up that book and I read that book. And Olivia, I could not keep that book down for 2 straight days, and I finished that book. And just on the second page or third page, I don't remember exact page of the book, Louise Hay says that if you feel that you want to throw this book across the room and you never want to pick it up and read it, then I've hit the right point. And that line made me stick to that book. I was like, how the hell she knows that I want to throw this book away? you know that was very, very challenging for me. Like, how can she know what I'm feeling? There has to be something to this. There has to be something more to this woman. Let me explore. By that time, so I used to be very spiritual. I used to go to many spiritual courses, and in India spirituality is like the way you window shop, you can be spiritual. There are so many gurus and so many things available for you that you can just explore and really have great uh, exposure to all this kind of modalities in India. Okay, so I'd been into, like, you must have heard of Art of Living or Isha or Osho and kind of people. So I'd been into all of that because I was constantly looking for some answers to my questions and my worries and my misery, right? I wanted to resolve that. So, when I read that book, I was like, I have done so much, but whenever I am at that place, I'm in that situation with that guru or with that meditative people and group, I feel so great. But whenever I come back home, I fail to feel good about myself. I fail to feel peace inside my heart or love inside my heart for the family or the people that I'm around. Anything, so to say. When I hated myself so much. When I read that book, Olivia, I understood what's my problem and why my life is not changing. Nothing is changing. No matter how great these courses and these gurus were, I can vouch for them. They're amazing. But nothing changed because how I thought about myself did not change. I did not change the way I used to think about my life. And when I got that point correct, trust me, since that day, my life had been different because I just understood that I cannot think negative and have a positive life. So I started working on how I think and what I think about myself, my life, and my situation. That was the first step. And in 2011, just after 2 months of reading that book, I again Googled. I went back to Google and I started Googling about Louise Hay and Heal Your Life. And voila, I found out that she is the one who I actually had, blogged. And now I'm looking for courses and I'm looking for how I can become a teacher or kind of things. So in 2011 October, uh, there was a course happening in Australia. Uh, at that time, this course is the teacher training courses for You Can Heal Your Life are only happening in 3 places in world. It was Australia, it was UK, and in USA. Okay, uh, and at that time, I had not, I didn't have a single penny in my pocket, not a single penny in my pocket, and this course was costing me $4,000, 3.5 to $4,000 with the tickets and stay and travel and all of those. You can imagine where would I mean, literally not a single penny. Like I didn't have $100 in my account. I didn't have $10 in my account. You can imagine, like, it's very
Yeah.
different in India. It's very different in India. You don't have money because you make money. You have money only if the man of the house gives you money. So it was very different. So I didn't have money. Not that I was not working, not that I'd been the part of family business all my life, and I'd been slogging to make the empire build to the level it was. But I did not have right over the money that I earned. And I was not supported. I was not told that, okay, here you go, you have the money, you can go and you can do this. So I literally begged and borrowed that money from my family members, other family members, my parents and all those kind of, my brother helped me and all. I took that money, I went to Australia, I did the training, I got the certification, I came back with one manual and that certificate in my hand. And from there, the life had just been different. What all I learned in that workshop, I thought that my life is now going to be completely fine and things are just going to settle the way I really want them. And I now have tools and techniques to make my life work. When I came back home, only I was the one who had done the workshop. So the first thing that happened with me is that I got on a roller coaster ride to apply all the things that I'd learned. And I realized that I had to stop lying to myself. I have to stop hating myself, and I have to start being true to myself in order to change my life. And with a lot of courage and a lot of, there were so many dilemmas, there were so many, you can imagine, when you don't have money, you don't have any say, you don't have any identity, you don't have anything of yourself. Where do you go? How do you go? And if you leave what and you go where is biggest question. But I took up the courage and I said that it's that's it. I cannot live anymore like this, and I'm not going to lie to myself, and I don't know what's going to happen to me, but I'm not going to live this life anymore. And in 2014 I got divorced. It was a very peaceful divorce. The whole marriage was chaotic, but the divorce was very peaceful because I had the tools to work on it. I had the tools to manifest exactly what I want. So in my divorce, I actually wrote down what I want for my divorce, how I want it to happen, which days, which dates, which year, exactly that things happened. The next and the second chapter of my life started when I divorced, because now I had new identity and I had no shadow falling through. So since then, since that time when I took a step for myself, since that time, a lot of people started asking me how you did this, what you did. There people need courage, people need money, people need so much of support. Top of that, you also found somebody whom you got married to and are really having a wonderful relationship with. And there were so many odds when it comes to my this relationship, because my husband is not married, like he was not married before, and I was a divorcee. It's a big deal in India. It's a very big deal. Yeah.
I was going to say something about that because I've watched so many. I was born a Buddhist and I was raised around a lot of Japanese and Korean people. We also had a lot of Hindu people around us, and
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of more relationships, like friendships with people from India than the
Mm-hmm.
traditional American has.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned a little bit about the culture from watching things, but I saw this documentary about, I think it's on Netflix, about like Our Girls or something, and just the tremendous amount of changes that your feminist movement is making currently in this time, and the women in tech now, and just it's phenomenal because I can only imagine what that feeling is like to not be treated as an equal because you're a woman. Yes, you're loved, but it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. And
Yes.
I had no idea that you work in the business, but you don't get your money. Like, and a lot of like something that I battle with myself is self-worth relating to how much money I have in my bank account. I've had days where I've had $0 in my bank account, and so I know what it feels like to want something so bad, but you made it happen. And so what is it inside of you that was like, I need this? to, ask and get what you needed so you could go and change your life.
Yes. So you know what? The moment I realized that the first step I took towards changing my life was that for all my life I had been blaming the culture and the upbringing and the society and my ex-husband and my parents to some extent for bringing me up or not probably supporting me in being the rebel that I used to be according to the society. Like the rebel that I think I am is very normal in USA. It is not rebellion thought process, right? But in India it's too much of a rebellion thought process. So I was angry with everybody and I was blaming everyone. So the first step towards my healing was to stop blaming others. Because the moment we blame others, we give away our power. We feel that they are the one who can make our life work and not us. And when you decide that you are not the one who can make your life, you are done. Nobody can actually help you. Not even God can come and help you. So that was my first step. My first step was to stop blaming and start taking responsibility of who I am and what I really want and what I want to do instead of waiting for my parents, my brother, my ex-husband, or anybody around me to help me to become my best version. I was waiting and I was blaming and I was grieving and I was complaining and I was crying and I was ungrateful. I stopped being that. I stopped being a total blamer all the time. Instead, I took charge. And trust me, Olivia, this brings so much of power, so much of power. It empowers you deeply when you stop blaming and you start taking charge. It can be really tough when you have faced some kind of extreme narcissism in your life. You really get into, like I had been suffering from PTSD because of what I had been through. Okay. And the narcissism that you face, or if you live with a narcissist, it can really, really, it can screw your life in a very different way, in your mind in a very different way. So, to bring myself back to that place where I collect myself and start moving forward, I had to stop blaming and I had to start thinking about myself instead of thinking about what others have to do or should do or must do or could have done for me. Instead of all of that, I started looking at myself. So that was my first step towards healing myself. So when I did the certification, even though nobody was supporting me, I asked myself that what am I willing to do? So it is very tough. It used to be very tough for me to ask for any help earlier. To ask for money specifically used to be very, very tough. But I came to a point that, okay, I am hoping that somebody helps me, but I don't ask for it. That's something wrong. This needs to change. So I went ahead and asked for the money that I would have never done in my life. I did it and I'm so glad I did it. It's so important to ask for help. It's so important. And you know what, people say that it requires strength to ask for help. No, it is more, you require more strength to just be where you are and struggle with all of it. It is not easy either. So you have to choose that you want to use your strength to go through the shit you are going through, or you want to use your strength to ask for the help. That's a choice you have to make. So I made that choice and I'm really glad and proud of that.
Yeah, no, that's especially after like 17 years of living with a narcissist, and you, what that does to you as a person, I can only imagine, because it's like, no matter what you do, they're never happy enough. No matter how much you try to make them happy, it's still, just it's really not good enough, because they're not going to be satisfied, and they don't care. They don't care that you're trying. And then when you are vulnerable and in your state, they blame it all on you anyway. So it then makes you more defensive and be like, well, no, it's these people. And then but you sat back and you looked at yourself and it's like, I have to change. And it's a battle to change from that mindset of blaming other people to taking the accountability. And what are some of like the tricks that you've used to, because it's constant work, until you get to a certain point, right? And then like, how do you, like, what were your techniques with that?
So my second point that I would really like to make is, first was that letting go of blaming. The second thing, the most powerful thing that I really understood that anybody needs is to change the way they talk to themselves. A person outside of you is saying you so many things, but it can only affect you if you believe it. But what you tell to yourself, you are definitely believing it. There is no other way. So I changed my self-talk, and for that, I realized that I need to go back to my childhood, because what I had heard in my childhood is something that I've always believed in, and I need to change the dialogues that had been made to me as a child. So I did a lot of intense inner child work, and it's beautiful. When you heal your inner child, you heal all of your life. It's beautiful. It's very powerful, and it had been so amazing, Olivia, that uh, small things, the negative messages that I'd been given when I was a child, that you may never fit in because I was a rebel, or maybe things like, you will not sum up to anything because I was a girl. You don't have an identity of yourself. You can't be much because you're a woman. You can't be much. All these beliefs that were given to me, that used to constantly play on my head, that, oh, I am somebody, I'm a poor me who always needs somebody to take care of me, and if they don't, then I am the one who have the power to blame all of them, and I can constantly hate them and myself for who they are. So you attract a narcissist because you have certain childhood patterns. I realized that, because my husband right now is a heap of empath. I cannot believe a man can be so empath. I cannot believe. I sometimes feel, am I a narcissist? Probably he's so empathetic that I feel that, am I the narcissist or what? But trust me, I attracted that man based on what I did in my inner child work, in my inner child healing, because I released the need to be punished, to be guilty, to be treated unwell, to be unloved. I released the need that I built up based on what I believed as a child, due to the environment that I was into. So being into a joint family, we were brought up in 15, there were 15 members in the family. Not all the time everybody is having a great time and great bond with each other, but they are supposed to live together. They are supposed to stay close knit. That does not mean that they are really close. So there is so much of pretense, there is so much of hatred, so much of anger at times, and there is bond, love, and care also. But there are so many politics, or kind of family politics kind of things, and a lot of such kind of stuff keeps on going. And we see our mothers fitting into all of it, and we see their struggle, or we see our fathers also letting go of so many things and fitting into things and all. So that brings brings up a very different mindset as a human being into you, about how you have to conduct life. And that can only be changed when you go back to this place in your childhood, where you built these beliefs on which your life is established right now. So when you establish yourself in a correct way, the foundation changes, and it is made again, built up in a very correct way. The life changes. That's the second thing. Like, the first thing was letting go of blame. The second thing was self-talk. And the most important part of changing my self-talk was working on my inner child.
And working on like inner childhood work, it's something I've done as well to accelerate my growth and as an individual, just to be a better person. And I almost look at it like, if you don't dig deep enough, it's like you're digging, like an actual shovel with the dirt, but you're trying to get to something, and you're trying to fix the foundation of your house. But if you don't dig deep enough, and you don't fix all of those bottom layers, the foundation's still going to crack. If you don't, if you just do the surface areas and you don't go deep enough. And I absolutely know the benefit of doing that inner childhood work. And so many people, I don't know if they don't know. I don't know if they don't know how to. So I know that you help your clients know how to do that. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yes, absolutely. You know what I figured out, Olivia, that most of people, it's not that they are not willing to do inner child work, or they are not willing to heal themselves. The biggest problem is that people don't know how, one. And second thing is, there's so much of fear, a feeling of feeling unsafe. They don't feel safe to open up that layers which had been dead for such a long time, because they don't know what kind of a demon is going to come out of it. And it could be tough for so many people, because for some people, like for Louise, she had been raped when she was 5. And she had been raped when she was 5. And she was 5 years old. 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 And she was 5 ye So going and working with her inner child would have been another episode. And just because she was raped when she was 5, at the age of 50 or something, she got vaginal cancer because she had so much of resentment built in. Now when you bring the resentment out, you face that, and there comes a time and point when you have to make a decision to be better in your life, and for that you make a decision to let go of what has happened to you. You start feeling kind of identity loss over there, that I had been identifying myself as a poor me who had been raped, and now I have to let go of it. So people feel identity loss when they work on themselves. They can't relate to who they were before, and it can be scary, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So, a lot of people tell me, you don't look like, you don't feel like, you don't talk like who you used to be. You are different. I'm not up to their expectations, so I'm different. Because I'm a different person who loves and respects herself more, who have so much of more self-worth, that who is not afraid of saying no, or not afraid of saying that she's not going to take any bullshit anymore. So people start saying, you have changed, you're a different person, you no more are like that where you used to be earlier. Why? Because I don't take all the bullshit. That that identity loss, that you don't have same friends, you don't have same family circle, that identity loss can be really difficult. Okay, so what I help my clients with is to let go of that old identity and old self, which they and the world are really identifying with as them. Like if that's what they're an image of themselves, for the longest time, the mind will keep on resisting, because it has a huge elaborated comfort zone. It does not want to change. It feels safe in whatever the way it is. And the biggest challenge happens to deal with your mind, while you work on your inner child, because it will say it's okay to be the way you are. But the new techniques that you learn will always say that, oh, there is so much more to life that you are going to get exposed to. So my work is to handhold them, literally like a small child, handhold them, take them through the dark tunnel that they are walking through and are really scared of, and show them the light at the end of it, and really bring them over there. That's how I go about it. So we use changing of self-talk, we use affirmation, we use forgiveness, we use releasing all emotions that you had been holding on to for such a long time, maybe years and years. So that's how I help people. And the toughest lesson that I've seen that people really are not able to cope up with is forgiveness. That's where exactly all good lies. The moment you forgive, life changes drastically. But the biggest and the toughest part of transformation journey is forgiveness. And and you know what, the toughest is to forgive yourself more than anybody else. So not that I was angry with others, but I was so angry with myself, that why did I let this happen to me? So when I stopped blaming others, I started blaming myself. And I had to learn to stop doing that as well.
Yeah, because that's when the self-talk comes in, really, because it's like, you let go and it's like, oh goodness, me. And then it's like, hold up, no, I can't do this to me. Enough people have done this to me that I need to treat myself better. So yeah, I definitely I see that, because it's like you let go of, you feel like the blame has to go somewhere, but it's like
Yeah.
you almost need to just let go of that emotion. So the self-talk, all of those other things do allow you to do that. What are some of the your most successful clients that you've helped? Where have they grown to?
So I had this one of my client. I always bring her on all of my online workshops or offline if she is available. She There are so many cases, but this particular case I always remember, because that has been the toughest for me also to deal with. So her name is Nilakshi, and she met me when she was going through a very bad divorce. Okay, and she was so broken, and the self body image that she had been talked so much shit by her ex-husband about how her body is. It's so easy to make a woman feel worthless just by telling her how her body looks like, and how fat or how thin, or all those kind of things. If a person can say, it can really affect a women's self image, body image. So she met me. When she met me, she was totally lost. She was totally drowned into depression. From there, we first of all worked on getting a peaceful divorce and getting all those things resolved. We came to a place where we started establishing her new belief system and working on how to get into new relationship, how to really find a wonderful guy for herself. So worked on her self-worth, her self-esteem, her self-love, most importantly. Okay. And amazingly, just within 6 months we found somebody really wonderful. She's a working professional and she never wanted to live alone. So, and I am a believer of this one thing, that you don't have to live alone, and you have to take a chance. You have to take a chance, and life is beautiful, and you need to share that beautiful life with somebody. Why not? So I believe in relationships, I believe in marriage, though there used to be times when I used to tell people never get married, but I married twice. Okay. Yeah, so that was different me. So that girl, we worked on that, and we found amazing chap for her. And he was such a wonderful guy. But unfortunately, here's the challenge. Unfortunately, just in the 4 years of our marriage, the guy got a brain stroke and he expired. He died.
Oh my
So
goodness.
yeah, I do not get so much affected emotionally by many things because I had worked through it and I understand it's life, but I was really heartbroken. I was really sad, and I was like, oh my, and I was the one. There were three guys whom she really liked, but I was the one who said that, and she would not move ahead without my suggestion or me agreeing, because she really trusted that I know the right thing. I can see through people and things. Okay. So, and I interviewed all three of them, and I liked this guy, and I was the one who said that this is the guy for you. And she was interested in someone else, but she was like, you cannot be wrong, so I'll go with. And she was so happy. That guy took care of her like a princess. Okay. And I was so happy for her. And he died, and she was broken. You can imagine she was how broken she can be. This was second time for her, and she was broken and lost. And she literally shifted from another city to Mumbai to Bombay to my city over here to be with me and to be able to take my help again and to work on it. And we worked rigorously again on establishing her life, and finding the right partner for her. First of all, letting go of what all has happened. It's a huge trauma. It's not easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy. When somebody very loving, who had really given you so much of happiness and so many good memories, it's not easy to move on from that person, right?
Yes.
So she couldn't sleep, she couldn't eat, she was so thin, and top of that she lost so much weight. Okay. And we worked on it, and just in almost 6 months of time, again we found somebody for her, and she's so happily married again.
What? 6 months?
Yes.
That's insane.
Yes. Yes. I myself, people take a lot of time after they divorce from such a toxic relationship, or going through so much of PTSD and trauma. People take so much of time, but I myself remarried in 4 months, Olivia. So it is possible to let go of things. You need to have right tools, right therapist, and you can just work through it. Okay. And I myself believe in having coaches. I myself have coaches. I couldn't, if I'm a greatest heart surgeon in the world, that does not mean I can do my own heart surgery. I cannot say, okay, give me the tools and I'll, you know, nobody can do that. So same is with your mind. And when people, when your hand is broken or when your leg is broken, people don't say this to you. Oh, it's okay, fine, you'll be fine, forget it. Oh, you don't pay attention to it. Oh, you don't think so much about it and you'll be fine. No, people say, rush to the doctor, your hand is broken, rush, you need some help. But when your heart is broken, when your mind is broken, people say that it's okay, it will just take some time. Oh, it's okay, let it go. You are just overthinking. You're giving too much of attention to the whole issue. It's pathetic that people talk like this. You have to accept your feelings and
Hmm.
you have to work on it. Your heart is broken, you have to heal it. Just the way if your hand is broken and you have to heal it. So with that girl, we did the same thing. She was shattered. She was into pieces. I had to collect her back together. And it was so tough for me because all the hopes that I had shown to her came true and broke off. So what do I talk about anymore? So you can imagine the kind of case it was for me. But she's one hell of a woman. She worked so well on herself. She did everything I told her to do. I also suggested her few other modalities and few other people to go to. She took that help as well, but she'd always round back and come around and come back to me, because she had so much faith in me. And somewhere I feel that I could not fail her, because she had so much faith that I would not. And she's happily married. I feel that it's God's grace, and I feel that I'm lucky that I could be her mentor and I could help her through that. But this was one of the toughest case that I've ever had. But I had so many cases where I'd healed people emotionally, and through that they've healed their physical ailments as well, like like things like somebody had eardrums stuck and they had to get it operated, and they worked with me, and just in one session it resolved and they did not need operation. Or things like dengue, things like some certain viruses and all that kind of things. People had really had wonderful results, because what I learned in my teacher's training was, and the book, Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life book, also teaches this, that every ailment in your body has an emotional connection. Every situation you have in your life, whatever you are facing in your life, has an emotional connect to it, which goes back to your inner child healing, your childhood, your adulthood to some extent, but most of it is in your childhood. And when we work on those patterns to release the need of being in that pain, being punished by the situation, being punished by the people and events, and having unhappy life, when we release the need of being that way, we really change our life. We really change our life. I am the example, and thousands of my clients are the example of that.
That is beautiful. And I want to touch back on a few things that you said, and how like much, our relationship has helped me with, you told me, you never say no anymore, because you used to, and you said that, how you used to, just say no, no, no. And then, but now you take a moment to actually think about it and consider it. You don't always say yes, but you consider it. And when my friend Amber reached out to me and wanted to do a podcast, I thought of you. And I was like, Nia told me not to say no to opportunities. And you were the first person that popped into my mind. Like, yes, someone I've never met in person, but your spirit, is just so captivating, and it's so inspirational. And I love hearing more about like what you do and how you help people. And I mean, because people can't say that they found someone a husband and then the man unfortunately passed away, and then you helped her find somebody else. Like, nobody like who? And you're not like a relationship person to say, like that's not like all that you focus on. You focus on like so much, but I mean, they're everything. People don't realize how much relationships come into play and how important they are. Because we as a society, we need people. And it's really, this world is so big. There's billions of people in it. And I really only believe there's 16 personality types, and we all are like the same everywhere. We just have different backgrounds and different stories. Yes. But even though our stories are so different, they're very similar.
Yes.
In the fact, go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, I believe that, what you are saying is very correct. No matter where we are, we have different backgrounds, of course. But I feel that emotionally we all feel same way. If I'm betrayed, I feel sad. If you are betrayed, you feel sad. It doesn't mean that you are in USA, so you feel good when you are betrayed, or because I'm in India and if I'm mistreated, that means I feel good. No, we all humans have similar emotions, and we all feel the same way. And that's why when I understood that, that's why I could drop the barrier of any kind of cultural differences or regional differences or any kind of those things, and I could connect to anybody. Olivia, you are from different culture, I am from different culture, but you don't feel that way when you talk to me. You don't I don't intimidate people by being an Indian, or I don't make them feel that, okay, I have a very different mindset and I will not be able to fit into that.
Yeah,
Equally, I belong to my husband's family is very conservative when it comes to lifestyle. So when I go over there, I fit in there as well. I don't make them feel, oh, okay, I'm so much different from you, and you all people are not, you don't have an open mind.
yeah. I
Everybody at emotional level, everybody is feeling the same way. If I'm going to belittle somebody, they're going to feel same way, no matter which country, which culture, which kind of thought process they are from. So, the equality is in your head and not in gender or culture, right?
absolutely, and we're all so connected. Especially this COVID situation has taught me we are so connected. So, it's not just, just because it's over there, we can ignore it. No, I believe that this is an opportunity for us all to come together for a better understanding and true healing, because we need so much healing right now. And it's so nice that you're like a beacon of light to help people with that type of healing. So many people are going through loss right now. And the fact that they could learn, because of the amount of numbers of people that are dying, not just from COVID, but just in general from, other diseases, cancers, murders, all genocides. So many people are going through so much, and they really do need people like you in their lives. So how do people find you?
Well, the simplest way to find me is to type my name NEHAVIKAS in Google. I'm all over Google. You will find me. So if the moment you Google me, you will find so many things about me, because I'd been writing so many articles in the newspapers over here in India. Then I'd been on so many podcasts and blogs with so many different people. I had been on national TV in India, so to share our story, me and my husband both were invited and interviewed on one of the shows in India that's called ZTV over here. That's a national television channel. So I'd been on national TV in India. I'd walked the ramp. I'd won the Mrs. India. So you can just imagine, I'm all over Google, so people can find me on Google. They can find me on Facebook, of course, as Neha Vikas, and I'm over there. And they can contact me anytime so my Facebook account is handled by me. There are other team members as well, but I do look into my Facebook account and I connect with people. Like we just connected, right? Yeah.
I know, and I don't even know how it happened, but I'm so blessed that it did. I do feel as though God put you in my life at the right time. You taught me the power of sharing my story, because I'm not afraid to share it. I have no problem talking about it, but it now that it's like people need to know that they have, like, we need to focus on our similarities rather than our differences. And you definitely helped me so much with that. And I cannot thank you enough. And I'm so happy to do more work with you in the future, because you're just an amazing soul and spirit. And the world needs more people like you. And it's just so happy to have you in my life as, like a mentor, because you really have we've talked like a few times face to face and through social media, but you've made changes in my life that are monumental. And I can't thank you enough for that.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. This is, I always tell people that set intentions for what you really want in your life. So how did I go to this pageant? I don't belong to that line. I'm not into all this fashion shows or kind of, beauty pageants and all that. But I set an intention that I want to really inspire more people, not only women, but men also. And I want to tell them that no matter how bad their life is right now, but they can take charge of it and things can change. And the most powerful tools that one can have is forgiveness and gratitude, and life can really change if you use this both of them vigorously. And it's okay to take help. So I share about how I take coaching, how I have therapists for myself, and I share about it. So always set an intention. So I have this in the how I connected with you also. I just I just run into people. I don't know how. I just run into people. And from where and how, I just don't know. And this attitude of mine that I'll be open, I'll explore. And this intention of mine that let even my, so a lot of people say that, you are able to do so many things. What if we can't? And if I can't, so that, I don't feel good about myself because I can't do so many things. As I compare myself to you, family members, friends, and all that, they compare themselves to me. So I tell them, you don't know how much a great deal you are doing even when you're breathing.
Yeah.
Believe me, because you are putting out that, you are breathing out that carbon dioxide, which trees are breathing in, which in return are giving oxygen. So when if you're breathing, you are serving this world. You don't have to be somebody. You don't have to identify with a particular thing. And you just be yourself. You don't know what help you can give. You don't have to be this person that I am. And it's, trust me, it's not always all shiny and glowy and wonderful. People have expectations from you when you reach to a level. And even if you want to give up, you can't, because people won't let you give up. So you have to maintain that, and you get there only if you really want to do that. Don't do it just because I'm doing it. So trust me, Olivia, I also believe that just by breathing I am serving the world. And all of these other things is of course an add-on.
I love that. I just by breathing, I am serving the world. I love that. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers or listeners?
I would really, really like to invite all of you who is listening to this, or if you feel related to me anywhere, like whatever I've shared, there is so much more to my story. Come over to my Facebook, probably Google me, and you'll be able to find out more about me and connect with me. If I don't connect back to you when you have sent a friend request or something like that, then please ping and tell me that you watched me on Olivia's podcast, or maybe you watch this interview and you want to connect with me. If I don't find the connection, sometimes I don't add people. So please do come. And if there is anything I would I could do for you, I'd love to do for you. And specifically right now, I have designed the Inner Child Healing Challenge, which I'm offering to people for a very less price, at very discounted price. Two reasons. One is that, in these tough times, I really want to help people. But still I'm charging. Why? Because I really feel that, people tend to value when they have paid for it. They value their time. They value their money when they've paid for it. So I'm keeping a type of it because I want sincere and serious people to come into it. It's going to be a rocking challenge. It's going to be a 5 days thing, which is a recorded video challenge. But there is going to be a live every day where we will do a lot of Q&A. There are a lot of prizes, tons of bonuses, and a lot of prizes which on each day is going to reveal power of one of the aspects of your life. So for the day one, it's about explanation about the whole inner child thing. What is it and why it needs to heal. The second day is about how to make your inner child feel safe in order to expand exponentially. You bringing out full potential, and just you without any kind of bondage or any kind of heaviness in your own heart or mind about anything, without any judgments. So second day is about how to make your inner child feel safe. The third day is about power of it's more about power of healing your inner child. When you heal the past, how your present changes. The fourth day is about power of gratitude, that how much you have been, because when you let go of pain, only then. See, if I tell you that there is a wonderful pose that if you do, or a wonderful posture that you do, that will really align your body in a best of the ways, and it will give you a nice toned muscles and glow on your face, you will be only able to do that when your body is pain free. So when you don't have pain, you can get exposed to so much beautiful things, emotionally or physically, right? So that part is taken care, to really become pain free from your childhood memories or your childhood trauma or anything. Now, inner child, so many people think that it's somebody who is 2 months or 5 years or 10 years. Inner child is your yesterday's self as well, because yesterday you were a day younger than what you are right now. And when you let go of what has happened yesterday till yesterday, you have so much of space within you to bring in so much more. And when you are able to see that, you can only feel gratitude, you can only feel grateful. And that's such a powerful thing. So the power of gratitude. And the last is the emotional literacy, where you need to really understand and draw the line and boundaries about who you are and how you want to lead your life. So it's going to be amazing. That's my promise. Like anybody joining this, I mean, I would want all of you to come to my inner child healing challenge, and I can guarantee that it's going to be one of the most amazing experience. And if you don't feel that way, I never do this and I never say this, but I'm going to say this on this particular podcast because I'm coming through Olivia towards you all, and I really want to be responsible about what I'm saying. So I'm going to say this, that if you don't like what I'm sharing or if you don't benefit from it, I'll pay your money back. That's the guarantee I can say. The only condition is you will do what I tell you to do in those 5 days, and you will see what miracles happens. That's a guarantee I can give. And 5 days, 10 minutes videos, 20 minutes of Q&A call. All of this is going to be recorded. You can have it afterwards as well for a limited period of time. If later you want to buy those things, you can buy it from me. So you can maybe have an access to all of the videos and training anytime you want. Plus, there is a group which is going to come together. This is going to be a group coaching. So there will be a lot of support, and there will be doses of super fun and love, and everybody is trying to, push each other to heal themselves deeper. And I understood that just because I share my story, some people heal themselves. They feel hope. Even if you will come there and share about yourself, or if you will listen to somebody who has gone through something, then you'll feel that, okay, I didn't have so many problems. If she can heal, I can heal. So trust me, your faith will increase, your hope will increase, your happiness quotient is going to increase, and you will have so many like-minded people just for $10 probably, It's going to be amazing. So that's my request to all of you. If you feel connected and if you can relate to me, please come over, and I'd love to have you all in the Inner Child Healing Challenge.
Oh, yes. Yes, that sounds amazing. That sounds awesome because it's so needed right now, especially right now. It's just so needed. So no, thank you so much for coming and speaking and sharing your story and awesomeness. I'm going to have you back because I love you so much. You're just such an amazing soul in spirit, and you're just serving the world by breathing. I love that.
Yeah, probably, there would come a time that I may not be able to do all this work. So I don't have to feel depressed, or I don't have to feel the identity loss. I have to just look at myself and ask myself, what am I still doing? So tell me one thing, Olivia, say if I am paralytic, I cannot speak, or I cannot walk, or I cannot do anything. But if there is somebody in the room who just got a heart attack or fell down from the chair, will I not have some response towards it just because I saw it?
Yeah, I feel like, because there's a person right there dying.
Yeah. So I'll feel bad. I wished I could help him. I may not be able to get up because I have disability, or I may not be able to speak because I have a disability, but I can always intend. You don't know the power of intention. It's amazing. And just because I can intend, that's enough. It matters if I intend good for this world. That's enough. I don't have to do things. Even if I can intend, that's so much great. So it's okay wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you are. You don't have to be a big shot and do things and stuff and all of it. If you can, great. If you can't, even better. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. There is no failure. Everybody is wonderful. And I wish all of you is listening to this, that may you find yourself, may you find your highest potential, and may you realize that you are such a blessing to the world by just being yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching, however you found this. I will leave Neha's information website down in the comments below. So yeah, let me know if you would like to reach out to her more or have any trouble doing so, and I will be more than happy to connect you with her myself.
Thank you so much, Olivia.
Thank you.